Hi everybody, I am Lady Stars of Fire. My real name is Michelle Espinosa, and this is the weekly healing messages for December the 10th through the 18th. Sorry, I'm paying attention to Mr. Neptune. He tends to show up when I do the readings a lot. Anyway, if you don't follow the video that much, I typically give you the Rune cast, which I haven't done in the last couple of weeks, but I do have the Rune cast this week. I give you a little bit of information of what Spirit has to give us in helping us move forward in the most positive and healing ways, as what is going on in astrology, or what Spirit directly guided me to in the astrology. Because I'm not like most astrologers. Sometimes Spirit has its own way of speaking to me when I look at the charts. Now, with that being said, I want to give us a little bit of other information other than just for this week. First off, for this week, Spirit does say get right out of your head. Just get right out of your head, because there is a lot of self-sabotage going on. And it's very easy to self-sabotage yourself right now, because with Chiron that just went direct and Mercury that just went direct, and Mercury is getting ready to move this week from Scorpio back to Sagittarius. I mean, it has brought up a lot of energy that's being shedded, like lifetimes of energy that's being shedded from you. It's old lifetimes of baggage. As well as I've been saying, this is energies you've been dealing with or accumulating over the last 30 years that have matured into what we're shedding, more or less. As well as, I keep being directed to 1982 and 1986 specifically, in areas of what some of the things were changing and shifting from viewing how we used to view it into new ways, because it doesn't serve us anymore, more or less. And I want to remind you, yes, this week, get out of your head. There's been so much energy that has risen from the retrogrades, and you still have Uranus in retrograde, that we're really sitting in some stagnant energy, is basically what Spirit is giving us. Don't give yourself that self-sabotage talk. You are moving forward. You may not be moving forward at the pace you wish you was, but that's normal. I want what I want, and I want it right now. That usually just doesn't work now, does it? I mean, we don't manifest I want what I want, and I want it right now that easily, do we? I mean, and if we are manifesting that easily, it's typically because it's something we don't really care that much about. The things you do care about is where you get in your head. And this is why Spirit is saying, get out of your head. Stop the self-sabotage, more or less. You are moving forward, but we are moving through getting rid of these stagnant energies. With that being said, I want to move forward into the future a little bit, and then I'm going to come back for this week's all the other information, because like I said, we're shedding lifetimes of baggage that's no longer serving us, more or less. We're learning how to heal from that. But this is the key. I've been saying this for over a year now. When Uranus finally moves out of Aries and starts to move into Taurus, and when Chiron moves out of Pisces and moves into Aries, this is when the true new cycles are going to fully get into full swing. As well as it can't fully get into full swing until after January's eclipse that's coming next month. Okay? Because from now until that eclipse, we're sitting in that stagnant energy. We're those energies of baggage that we're shedding. We're shredding it from who we are. It's no longer part of our existence anymore. We're learning how to heal and move forward. These things are still in stagnant, more or less. They're still growing. And we're going to be sitting in it and kind of viewing it, because it had to rise. It had to come out. The skeletons had to come out of the closet, babe. They had to come out. So now we're viewing them. We're seeing them for the truths that they are, and we're learning how to shift and change and make those changes. With that being said, let me remind you, Chiron does not move into Aries until February 18th. That is, and I'm telling you, for you sensitives, on that day or right around that day, you are going to feel that energy of when Chiron shifts into Aries. It leaves that universal 12th house and enters the universal first house for the new beginnings. Okay, you have Uranus, which is not going to be moving into Taurus until March, and Uranus will not come out of retrograde until the 6th of January. So these energies, like I said, I want to make sure that I'm getting it through to you. You're shedding lifetimes of energies, as well as, like I said, from 30 years ago, these energies are communicating with us now. And especially something going on with 1982 and 1986. You know, we're reviewing them. We're learning where that didn't serve us. We're learning how to see things and view them so they do serve us. Dragon is giving me the idea of you're learning a new idea of understanding how to stand and what it truly means to stand in your power, your soul fire, the soul fire of who you are. And you're learning how to project it and be exactly who is inside. But you must first learn to understand and realize who it is that's inside. Dragon shows me, the heart of the dragon, starting to glow and getting, that soul fire is burning from within way before he ever exhausts, way before he ever breathes the fire out. So you have to find your soul fire from the inside before you can hand it out to others for them to view and see you for who you are. You must find you first. Now, with that being said, let me jump back into this week because I wanted to let you know, like I said, we're taking baby steps as we start to make these big changes that are going to come into changing everything for the next 20 years. But between now and March is really where these shifts are going to take place to set the platform for what will be coming for us, for what we're changing in our lives. Projecting that energy into the future, and this is how we get there. Now, this week I'm also being given the number 4, and for me, 4 stands in the way of universal law and universal creation. There are some things that cannot be changed, like the seasons cannot be changed, the different times of day, when the sun rises and the moon sets. I mean, these things are universally, they never change unless it's being done by something much bigger than us. There are certain things within that universal creation and universal law that cannot be shifted. And this has to do with understanding it's a process, honey. And this is the process. You are taking part of it. And you just have to have some patience. And remember, you're better off than what you think you are. But you have to believe in you. So, I was given number 4 first. 4 may have other meanings for you. Then I am given the fox. And the fox, for me, speaks of you already have everything you need. You have everything you need. You just have to figure out how to use that to make it everything you need. Unless you are in the fox in an ill way, and then you're using everything you need and being cunning about it. And that will go against you. So I'm giving you the warning. Which side of the fox are you on? Then I'm given the owl. And the owl gives me like a glowing light that's coming directly from the heart. From like the heart and the soul coming out. And for me, this is directly speaking of, rebirthing through death. Finding the light through the death of letting go. And like I said, we just had a new moon last week. New moon in Sagittarius, which is helping project us where we're supposed to be going. So you're learning to let go and release so that you can bring new forward. And you can't have a new rebirthing if you're still stuck in the death. This has a lot to do with what the owl is speaking to us of. And then I am getting the T-Rex energy again. And the T-Rex speaks to us of aggression within our soul fire, within our soul power, standing in our power. Are we using passion in a positive way? Our soul fire, the flame of who and what we are in a positive way? Or are we taking the aggression and we're making it more intimidating, and we're not necessarily doing it in a soulful way? These are things to view for the week. Now, I am given, for the runes, I am given Knez. Knez is the torch. It is the craft of fire itself. It is the skill of fire. It is the ignition button, the start button, the turn on, let's go button. It speaks to us of manifestation. It speaks to us of our character. But it also speaks to us of our children. It does have sexual energy as well. Understand, fire is passion. And what is our passion? It is either of our heart, so it is our children, because they are of us, they are of our heart, or the passion of everything we put ourselves into, including sexual energy. So Knez is speaking to us of the craft, the torch, the burning fire. Basically, it is also speaking to us of an Ansus, which is the mouth and communication. And it is a very key part here is remembering communication and the inspiration that comes from the communication can inspire you or dominate you, depending on how you let the viewing of that go within your own mind. Communication has to do with words, poetry, music. It's not just speaking to one another. And the words you speak, the air you breathe, has a part to do with connection of spirit itself. The air is part of being able to be part of the connection. Okay? So remember, it has to do with, are you taking it to something that's inspiring you, or are you letting something dominate you? And where's that communication taking you this week? And then we are Uraz. Uraz speaks to us of the power of shape, to reshape, to take the shape, reshape it, and start to actually make it so. It speaks to us of strengthening and burning away all of our weaknesses. If you are able to stand in your power. Like I said, dragon is telling us we need to come from a dragon heart, from the soul fire from inside that glows and is burning inside. You must find it inside before you can exhale it. Okay? Uraz speaks to us of the wild bull that is within us all, and the health and the healing that is within us all, as well as abundance. Now, like I said, but a lot of this is going to have to do with where we are stepping forward. It's like baby steps until we get through the eclipse and until we get through, Chiron actually finally moving into Aries. And we get Uranus coming out of retrograde and moving in March into Taurus. These are all has to do with the energies that is going on. But the dragon reminds me again to go back to the constellations of the dragon this week as I get into the astrology. Because, like I said, I don't always just give you what normal astrologers give you. I do give you what I see in the astrology, which often is just like any other astrologer. However, I am also pointed out by spirit specific things, which will help us understand as we move forward. Do not forget, though, Mercury does move back into Sagittarius on the 12th. And I am getting the 12th, 13th, 14th, 15th, and 16th. You are definitely going to have an extra rise in energy this week. And it's going to be more emotional because the moon is going to be talking to specific things, which is going to help, make those energies rise more or less and bring it up and out of us. So this is why they're also saying, stay out of your head. No self-sabotage. Treat yourself with respect. Know that you can remember, honey, you are what you create. And if you keep staying in your head, you're going to create the sabotage you're talking yourself into. Is what I'm trying to get through to you. This is what they keep saying to me. But if I get back into the constellations, dragon in the constellations, I am given 2 specific stars, more or less, to put with the regular astrology. And they're key points at this point, because they're actual gateways to the higher dimensions. And this has to do with, are you allowing that 4th and 5th and 6th and 7th level of dimensions, that higher loving, higher vibrational energies of dimensions to speak to your 3rd dimension? Because your 3rd dimension is the physical reality. Are you allowing them to help you get through? Are you understanding what's truly going on so that you can evolve the way you should? Now, the keys that are hidden in this is understanding that Kokub, which is in the dragon, it's in the very tail of the dragon. It sits in Leo. It is in opposition of Vista, which is in Aquarius. Now, let me break that down for you. Leo, Kokub, dragon. that is one of the gates. It's considered one of the gateways to the higher dimensions itself. And it is in that universal fifth house where the lion is. There you go, with the lion's heart now. It's speaking to us also of the fire of our sun. It comes with a energy like the sun, but actually multiplied. It's even bigger and it's more creative. So it's not just illuminating, it's a creative illumination. So are you using that core creative illumination in the area of that universal fifth house of what you seek and have pleasure of in your life, what you desire to have pleasure of? In your life, it is speaking directly across in opposition with Vista, which is in Aquarius, speaking to your outer community, speaking to your teams, your goals, your friends, your like I said, your dreams. Okay? And it is in opposition of Vista, which is your freaking soul fire. Okay? So it's like your core fire and your soul fire are fighting at where we really are. I told you we're in a lot of stagnant energy right now. So you've got to truly go through what it is your head is telling you and what it is your heart wants and come to understand there has to be a medium. Where is the right and where is the wrong? Where is the ego and where is the soul? Where are you confused? Because your soul fire is in Aquarius right now, trying to speak out to the community of your dreams, your dreams, your hopes, your goals, your wishes, your friendships, your teams, your groups that you are all part of. And it's fighting the pleasure of what you want to create in your life. You need to honestly, like I said, from the dragon heart, find out inside before you can express it outwardly. Before you can blow any fire like a dragon does, you have to learn how to understand it, feel it, and build it from inside. Now, Kokub is also it's squaring Ceres and Venus, which is in Scorpio. This is talking to the responsibilities of the relationships themselves. Ceres is too close to home. She is karma. Okay? And she's talking to you about what has or hasn't been nurtured properly, or where you have or haven't been nurtured properly. And are you creating the same cycle? Okay, Venus is all about your sensitivity and telling you what you love and why you love it, and what you don't and why you don't love it, why it hurts. She's explaining to you why things hurt so that you can change it and learn to not have to deal with that anymore. These are these things that are being brought up to our attention, speaking back to what it is we wish to have pleasure of in our life. How do you wish to create? How do you wish to enjoy life? What will help bring you pleasure? That does everything from your hobbies to sexual energy, honey. How, and who, and what brings pleasure to you versus your karmic actions. And how have you been nurtured or not? And are you doing the same cycle? What is it doing within the relationships? Where are the responsibilities within these relationships not being held up to par? This has to do with, like I said, these stagnant energies that are rising so that we can truly see it and start to shift them and make them the way they need to be as we move forward. Now, Kokub is getting along wonderfully with Jupiter, which is trying to bring that higher connection of that higher self, that higher knowledge, that higher abundance, the higher level of the soul fire into your thick head and help you understand how and what it needs that you are not meeting. What are you not meeting in the level of what you desire? Why aren't you getting it? Because Jupiter's trying to show you it so that he can steer you in the right direction. I say all the time, with Jupiter and Sagittarius, we are speaking about the soul fire itself. Okay? And Jupiter's job right off the bat is to start to clean up where things are wrong. I mean, that's just the way it works. It's still in the beginning months of its year here in Sagittarius. The sun is here too. So it's speaking to the core. And now, in a few days, Mercury's going to be coming back in and speaking to us again, as well as outwardly. So this whole week is about, learning how to soulfully discover who you are, stand in your soul fire in a way that you never maybe have before, start to learn how to do it, see it, acknowledge it, and then project it outwardly properly. This is a new level. We're coming into a new way of understanding how to stand in our power. Now, you also have Chiron, not Chiron, Kokub, which is the tail of the dragon, which, like I said, is the gateway itself, speaking to Pallas and Libra. Now, that is the relationships. Pallas is Athena, the warrior goddess. She's speaking to you of giving you that the strategy of how strategic thinking of how to adjust these relationships and make them work forward for you in a positive way. Plus, giving you the tongue of Venus, because it is ruled by Libra, and to being able to communicate it in a delicate yet charming way. Don't forget that you also have Make and Haumea there, which is, it is your collective consciousness, as well as where you stand on the lotus flower, which is coming into communication with the dragon right now. Like I said, the dragon is like a mediator with everything else that's going on at this moment. You also have Polaris, the Polaris star, which comes in very much like a creative core energy, like the sun kind of energy, creative, but it has the sensitivity of Venus within it, as well as it speaks to us of rules, walls, and boundaries. And it is not getting along with the sun. Okay? So it's like the sun versus the sun. It's like your inner core versus your outer core. What people view you as, how you want to be viewed. They're in opposition of each other. And this is coming out of Gemini. So this also deals with, your short relationships as well as your siblings. Short relationships, short views, small things that you own that are close to you. Like the trip to the store, the neighbors. What is home and close? But it also is those small situations that we take for granted, that we overlook because it's just part of our daily life. This is those core energies speaking to us about where rules, walls, and boundaries and our creativity is wrong, speaking to our outer community of our core energy. Because the sun is also out there in Sagittarius right now. Don't forget, Jupiter is also over there, but he's on the other side of Sagittarius. But still, it's bringing that manifestation up and out. So, like I said, stay out of your head this week, but listen to soul. Listen to soul and understand where soul and head aren't getting along, because you got to find the balance and you got to find out what's right from what's wrong. Now, with that being said, those are your key points that I'm being given. Now, when we get back to the regular astrology, you have the water trine that's been going on for quite some time. However, this trine is now shifting. Not in the way of changing who and what it's dealing with. But remember, Chiron just went direct. So the energy of it itself is shifting, because it is a water trine of Chiron, which is no longer in retrograde, in Pisces, speaking now to the North Node, which is in Cancer, which is in your universal fourth house, and Mercury, which is now coming from Scorpio and back into Sagittarius, because it's now direct again. So that communication that's been going on with this water trine has only been talking to you. Where now all of a sudden it's shifting and it's talking outwardly to everybody else. Okay? And it is dealing with the healing that needs to be taken care of. It's dealing with all of these energies that have been rising, all of the shedded baggage that's still stagnant, that you've learned to view it and see it, but you truly haven't fully let it go yet, because you're learning how to shift and become a better you. Okay? The North Node is speaking to karmic energy and home energy. This is your home. Before any of this on earth is your home. This is your home. Okay? So your home has to start with who and what you are, as well as your karmic baggage. Like I said, Chiron, which now has gone direct and left everything a little stagnant for us to look at, is now speaking to Mercury, which is coming out of the relationship house of what it's responsible for, the death and birth and rebirthing, birth, death, and rebirthing, the mystery of creation of what Scorpio is in that universal 8th house, and what those relationships are responsible for, and it's moving it into a higher soulful understanding. And we're trying to take that soulful understanding and communicate outwardly, basically. So we're no longer inward, fully inward. We're now taking that trine, that water emotional trine, and we're projecting it outwardly. Okay? And this is where this shifting is going to be taking place. This is where I got that T-Rex energy. Make sure you're standing in your soul fire in a powerful way. But a powerful way does not have to necessarily be aggressive and mean. It doesn't have to be harmful. And you know exactly what I mean by that. Now, you also have Venus. You have all kinds of sextiles this week that are going very powerful. But Venus is very much an energy that is very much speaking to us, as well as Neptune and Mars this week. It still has to do with those energies that are coming through this. But sextiles, the bad thing about sextiles is we get a little too comfortable when we have too many opportunities presenting themselves, and then we get lazy and we don't move anywhere. This is not the week to be doing that. Venus is sextiling Saturn, which then is sextiling Neptune. Okay? Now, on the 13th through the end of the week, you also have Pluto, which is sextiling Mars. And then all of that energy is going to bounce right back to Venus. So it's not a trine, but it's like a small little triangle that's got extra oomph. Okay? It's like an extra oomph of opportunity and possibilities coming within all of these sextiles. Venus, the universal 8th house, is speaking to you in positive ways of being able to communicate what it is you need within those rules, walls, and boundaries, and into Neptune to bring able to breathe life into it. Okay? Pluto is speaking to Mars in positive ways. Your death, decay, destruction is speaking to your warrior, your passion, your action, your aggression. You know, your inner SWAT team, and ways of how can we shift from the death of something, the ending of something, the letting go and the shedding of all of this energy, and start to twist it and turn it and manipulate it into positive ways to start something new without lying to ourselves and restarting, more or less, because that's the key here. You don't want to manipulate Neptune's energy into thinking that you changed it. You're not going to change it. That is the 4 with the universal law. You're not going to change the past. You're not going to change that you can't make something now be different when it already is what it is. You can only view something as what it is, accept it, acknowledge it, and then decide what you will shift in your life. But you can't shift an energy that's already one thing. You can't change it into something else, is what I'm trying to say to you. You have so much positive energy here that is possible for you to manipulate in possible ways, as long as you understand what manipulation is. And you're able to manipulate it into ways that become opportunities for you, without becoming lazy and just hoping that you're playing with Neptune's energy and that you shifted into something new when actually you just created the same shit all over again. Venus is talking to you about your sensitivities. She's going to be telling you what you don't like so that you make sure you don't have to do that again. Stick with the things you do like. Stick with the things that make you happy, that make you feel joyful, and help you understand how to have the correct rules, walls, and boundaries. Stick with this energy. Stick with what makes you feel passionate and aggressive and action and full of your fire in positive ways. Understand the things that make you touchy-feely. But the idea is to not dig into that and go over it again and accidentally, incorrectly manipulate it to start all over again. You're trying something new. Follow what your heart and soul tell you about what you already know you enjoy and like. Understand how to listen to your soul fire. Now, Venus is trining Neptune and Mars, though. So it's giving you the power of being able to get in and cozy up with the magic you can create, and the passion and the action and the aggression of the fire of being able to project it into the way you want. She's giving you the power and the communicational skills, because she's Venus, for crying out loud. But she's speaking to you directly about what needs to be healed within the relationships and their responsibilities. Okay? But she and that whole energy is not going to be getting along with Lilith. There goes your ego, and there goes that T-Rex energy, and there goes that fox and the hunt and the cunning energy. Or you already have everything you need. Honey, you are perfect the way you are. You just have to understand who and what you are and how to shine up your diamond a little bit. You don't have to be cunning about things and be so aggressive and rude. You can get what you want by understanding who and what you are and what you need. Okay? So Lilith is going to be, nobody's going to make me do a goddamn thing I don't want to do. And that's going to be trying to push you around a little bit this week, especially from the 13th out. Okay? So she's going to be poking at Venus's sensitivity, trying to, mess with you. Don't let her, but understand when she is doing it, how to create that in a positive way for yourself. Now, the Sun and Jupiter in Sagittarius, which I said is like our higher self coming to speak to us about what it is we're slacking on. Okay? Is speaking with Neptune and Mars in a very uncomfortable way. It is a square. It is bringing up the challenges of what it is that we keep recreating over and over again, and why our passion lies within those things, why it is that we're not letting them go. And it's the moon is going to be traveling through that energy from Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. The moon is going to be there, making it even more sensitive, okay? So your core energy, your Jupiter higher self, your acknowledgement of who and what you are, your soul fire, and learning how to step into the higher self is not necessarily getting along with what it knows it has to heal. It knows it has to change. It knows these things have to evolve, and why you don't want to, why you're uncomfortable with it, is making you face it. Fear, honey. Fear is the biggest thing that will keep you from healing. And fear is the hardest thing to look in the face, because we lie to ourselves about what fear is often. Okay, but on the upside, you have Sun in Sagittarius is trining Uranus. So even though Uranus is in retrograde still, it's speaking to us about what it is we need to find about our independence, our individuality, our uniqueness, our freedom. Honey, to make you love yourself, to love life, to love your own life, as well as yourself, and how to love outwardly. It's teaching you about what it is you don't know about you. Listen. And then, like I said, over the next couple months, we're redirecting how to stand into our fire, how to stand into our soul power, and how to do it in healthier ways so that we can actually project our lives exactly where we truly want them to go. Because it's time to evolve. I love you guys. Bye.